Hello students, once again I am here to teach you your history, class 10 CBSC social science. I am going to teach you your new chapter, that is chapter industrialization, chapter number 3. Dear students, take care. You have to see that chapter number 3 or 4 you will get choice, optional choice. Either you have to prepare your chapter number 3 or chapter number 4. Fourth is globalization impact on world level, and this one third one is of industrialization. So no worries at all. You have to do one optional question here, chapter number 3 and 4, and take one thing very carefully, that if you are going to prepare chapter number 3rd, prepare it fully so that you may not face any problem regarding your choice question. It should be 100% that you whatsoever you will get question in the CBSE board exam, you would be able to complete it properly, right? I'll teach you all the major fact of this chapter, and you would be able to understand hopefully, as this is the last portion of your history chapter, right? Industrialization and age of industrialization, so that you may study about it. Very first page of your book, I have tried to take these pictures drawn by this is right hand side, dawn of the century, mean to say 19th century beginning, dawn mean to say here very beginning of the century, published by E.T. Paul, music, this one magician called it is, because whatsoever work, whatsoever picture he has portrait and try to show you the coming of the liberty, coming of the freedom of the industries, how people are free to produce their products, use their raw material, sell their production, right? All this has been, this is the beginning era of the century, during the 19th century, how the industrialization came into force, came into being. And in the second colorful picture, there my hand is also visible, in that after the industrialization, what would be there, what is the picture of the industrialization, east and the past, and mechanism, this stands for the western and modernity, how this modern pictures, this whole area is covered by different type of factory and smoke coming out of the factories, how it is getting darkened all over. It is very paradoxically thinking that one side it is making development and another side it is some, but drawbacks are there, it is getting the backward also, because if every time development at the cost of ecological balance, if countries, all the world is making development with the help of industrialization, ultimately it also leads to the deterioration in the quality of atmosphere, different type of pollution also. Okay, this is all much about your introduction of this chapter. Let us start what is told in the chapter for you in this. Like I have taken this model of industrialization, right? This picture tells us about the industrialization, how after the industrialization world would look like, that is here. But as soon as the revolution started, very first it came into existence during 19th centuries. Before the industrial revolution, I would like to mention here that we'll study about India, Western perceptives as well as Indian perceptives regarding this industrialization. Whatsoever happened in the West, that happened simultaneously in the contemporary period in India also. And if it happened in India, ultimately it will affect India social, economic, politically. But when it happened in the other countries of the world, especially Britain in London, because we were directly at that time under this influence. We were under the colonialism of the Britishers, and ultimately, whatsoever they are doing, somehow we are also involved in that directly and indirectly. Directly and indirectly. In this way, and that what was the before industrial revolution production before the coming up of factory, there was very fantastic term that was proto industrialization. Suppose if I say that when there was industrialization regarding this, textile industries were the first due to this industrialization. And when industrialization ultimately people from rural side migrate to city life, urban life, that term is known as urbanization. And when people move from rural to urban, urban to rural and vice versa, that is migration. Ultimately, people used to migrate from one place to another place in the search of jobs, proper lifestyle, and health facilities, sanitations, such on, so forth. So that happened during that century also, during beginning of the 20th century, that is approximately 19 to 1950. The production was that there was proto industrialization, mean to say when this textile industries came here, it means before industry people were also using cloth was being made here and there. How people used to make, that was everything done at the village level, at different people were doing. That was also fantastic fact to note, that earlier people used to do it in different units. Like you may have heard here were three major terms: stepper, fuller, corder were there. That they, some of them pluck the cotton balls from the plants, some of them get the work of separating seeds from the cotton, and after that thread is woven. Thread is taken, then cloth is woven, and after that there is printing, design changes that you have heard in your previous classes also. All these process was going on, and these process at that the very, we can say, micro level, that was proto industrialization. And in other words we can call that proto industrialization was the system, thus part of network of commercial exchange before of the factories, and it was controlled by the merchants. Goods were produced by the vast number of producers working within their family farms, not in factories. Like I have also seen that my grandmother, my taiji, and other, they were also doing this work within home. जो कपास है उसको लेते थे, उसके फिर सीड्स अलग करते थे. यू नो दैट कपास के जो सीड्स होते हैं उनसे फिर ये एनिमल फॉडर बनता है, जिसको हम खल वगैरह बोलते हैं हिंदी में. सरसों की होती है, कपास के जो बीज निकलते हैं, सीड्स होते हैं, बड़े हुए होते हैं, उनसे निकलती है. तो इस टाइप से वो एनिमल के लिए यूज़ की जाती है. फिर उस कपास से थ्रेड बुना जाता है. थ्रेड के बाद उसको एक जगह कलेक्ट किया जाता है, 4 थ्रेड्स को, 3 को, 2 के, अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्लॉथ. किस टाइप का कपड़ा बुनना, आपने पतला बुनना है तो डबल थ्रेड लिया जाता, और मोटा बुनना तो ट्रिपल लिया जाता, उससे भी मोटा कपड़ा स्टफ़ बनाना है तो ये 4 थ्रेड्स इकट्ठे लिए जाते. दैट वॉज प्रोटो इंडस्ट्री, मीन टू से बिफोर इंडस्ट्री, राइट. So when these things were going on, the merchants who were doing this work, they moved to city, rural life, countryside. And then because why they moved to countryside, because there these farmers, these pluckers, carder, fuller, all are available, and they used to give them loans and provide them raw material, give them facility, give them some advance also, so that they can churn, they can weave clothes for them, and those merchants purchase those clothes from the villagers and sell them at higher prices in the other parts of the country, cities, towns, even for export purpose also. Then production and sell in the international market, as I have shown here also. So why this was done? Because reasons why poor peasant and artisans worked for the merchants. They were working for the merchants because they don't have sufficient resources, they don't have interlinked economies, they don't have link with the cities people to whom they can sell their this product and take some money in the form of advance. With the help of these merchants, they were working as a medium among these producers and the buyers, and these merchants take some benefit from both the sides and supplement their shrinking this one trade regarding that. In this way, these merchants came to rural sides and they and further they made their guilds, elites, gomasthas, and there was the origin of the word jobber. Jobber was very interesting word here because these jobbers try to supplement their shrinking trade and try to give provide them jobs, working as a intermediate between the among the job seekers and the job givers. तो उन दोनों में से थोड़ा ये कमीशन लेते थे, दोनों साइडों से जॉब वाले को जॉब मिल जाती थी, जिनको वर्कर चाहिए उनको वर्कर मिल जाते थे. तो दिस टर्म the proto industry, after that this proto industry, before factories there were proto industrialization. Merchants in the 17th and 18th century moved to the countryside and persuaded peasants to produce for international market. With the expansion of trade and new colonies, demand for the goods increased nowadays. Then when this was large scale production, ultimately there were some factories. Earliest factories in the England in 1730s. In late 18th century, the factories multiplied. Cotton production boomed in late 19th century. In 1760, Britain was importing only 2.5 million pounds of raw cotton, and by 1787, approximately 100 year, this import was not 100 year, only within 10 to 17 year, this import soared to 22 million products, approximately 22 million pounds. Earlier it was only 2.5 million pounds and now it is 22 million pounds. See how much increase in the production of raw material with these merchants. And this expansion was not possible in the towns as urban crafts and trade guilds were powerful. Guilds, I want to tell you that they were a group of the people who take control upon these village workers who do to this weaving work, ginning, spinning, ginning, and associations trained craft people, regulated price and restricted new entry, so new merchants went to the countryside. And in countryside, the open fields were disappearing and commons were enclosed. Those who gathered firewood and hay were not looking for alternative income for a proto-industrialization supplemented agricultural, but this work was not done by these before the factory came. That time this work was not done. Hopefully, dear student, you have understood about the your this chapter, that is age of industrialization. Till now I told you what is the difference of western and eastern before, and that is painted by E.T.O. Paul, called a magician. 2 centuries different he has depicted in the beginning only, then proto industry, then factory, how did factories came up, what type of works were done over there, and how these people were engaged, why these merchants came to countryside. Very fantastic. Please take care कि these जो merchants थे ये village की side क्यों आए थे, because of the production of raw material and this and that. This much for today. Bye students, take care.